Hello, hello, everybody. Good morning to those in Asia and good evening to everybody else in the US and very late night for those in Europe, I think, right? Anyway, welcome to WildChina on Air. My name is Zhang Mei. I'm the founder of WildChina and your host for today's event. Now, today's event is a very special collaboration between WildChina and the Global Heritage Fund to showcase a project in a tiny little village in one of my favorite parts in China, Guizhou province. And this is our 68th virtual event. We'll get to see the village live shortly. Just a couple of words on Global Heritage Fund, which prior to my experience, recent exchanges, I had a complete misunderstanding. I thought they were about preserving buildings. And then through their work in Guizhou, I came to really appreciate their inclusive approach to really preserve local heritage by investing time and effort to build the local communities and providing them with sustainable methods of alternative development, etc. So today, when we go to the village, which is a Dong village, we'll get to see and understand the GHF approach to conservation. And this is what they do around the world, obviously adjusting to local characteristics, right? And they have many, many other projects in other parts of the world. One of my favorite area, Han, I've got to go with you, is Morocco. I think they have this granary conservation out there. Apparently it's really beautiful. I don't know how to weave that into WildChina events, but we are a global village, so I'll find a way. Take a look on their website, you'll see all these events. And also I want to say upfront, WildChina has developed a short trip to visit Dali Village in May. And if you're interested, we'll only take 12 people and it's on our website. You can see details there. And the logistics of today's event. We will hear from Han, or Guang Han in Dali Village, but she will first talk a little bit about their approach. She's the program director for GHF. And then we'll also meet Jenny Cho, who is the architect for this project. Then we go live with Guang Han to visit this place. I can't wait. I just want to jump straight to the live portion, but then no, we should do that first. And then we'll have Q&A. A few words about Guang Han. She's the, as I mentioned, director of programs there, but she also oversees the strategy and management of the organization's global projects. And she also serves as the director assistant for the UNESCO World Heritage Institute of Training and Research in the Asia Pacific region. She has a degree in architecture studies and historic preservation from UPenn and a PhD in archaeology from Beida, Peking University. She frequently guest lectures at universities across China, also speaking at global conferences or forums, including TEDx or Asia Society or UNESCO conferences. Her projects have been reported broadly, New York Times, CNN, Financial Times, etc. So lovely to have you, and particularly so special to have you from Dali Village. Let me move the spotlight over to you. Would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Mei. Can you hear me clearly?
Perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you very much for having me, and thank you for the introduction. And as Mei mentioned, and as you can probably see my background, I'm in Dali Village right now. This is what you see. And so I'm going to just give you a brief overview of what we've been doing, how we started working here. And then later I'll move it to Jenny to give you a little bit more background of what happened after she got involved. And then we jump to the live streaming. So I'm just gonna share quickly. I put together a little PowerPoint. So I'm gonna share screen. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Let's see how it works.
Can you see my share screen? Can you see my share screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Yeah, so just a very quick introduction about what we do. As Mei mentioned, we're not just about preserving monuments. So Global Heritage Fund. We do have a focus on cultural heritage conservation, but we also believe that heritage can be a development engine that really drives community development, social development. It has a lot of connection with broader social issues, and we really think it can be more than just preserving the brick and mortar of historic building. So, and Dali Village, I think it's what is quite special is really want to think about heritage as a kind of innovation to drive rural developments. So just very quick overview. So as I can't really fly you over the valley as we do our live streaming, so this is just to show you this is how it looks like. It's set in this very isolated valley, high deep in the mountain in Guizhou. And it has about 300 houses, about 1,300 people living here. So it's really quite isolated and a community of its own. And you can see it has all this terraced rice field, all this forest land, and then the houses are still built in this traditional method. This is just a satellite view to show you really how tucked away it is, hidden away in the mountains. So just to give you a little background why so this village is so special and it still exists in this part of China is that it still has this very complete ecosystem. As you can see, so again, I say it's in the valley, it has a river that cuts through the valley. The village is built on either side. And then on the terraced hills, they have the paddy fields, and then they have the forest. And then all this, they have the water system that runs down from the mountain that irrigates their field and runs down to the village and then back into the water. So it's really a very complete and very smart traditional ecosystem that has been sustaining this village for hundreds of years. This is why we really want to use this holistic approach. We're not focused on any one monument, historic building. As you can see here, this is how other houses are. So not one house stands out as a grand manoir or anything that's very of monumental scale. But what is special about this place is really the collection of all these different houses, whether it's built hundreds of years ago or whether it's built in the past 20 years, it still kept this traditional style, this uniform style that really give this place a very special feel. And that's what make it a living heritage. This is the drum tower. Jenny will touch on it later. This is where the building project we work with is located. The drum tower is the monumental building of the Dong village. So this is where all the grand ceremonial event happens. You can say this is the highest point of the village. It's also a landmark. It looks like a pagoda kind of structure, but it's really one story, or this 9-story of tiered roof. It's just a very, very grand, airy roof atrium space. To show you some of the life of the villagers, they still sustained on well water. As we later also will see, we are actually at the well house, which is a hotel, a hostel guest house that Jenny Atlas has designed. We'll see, talk about later. It has all these historic trails that the ancestor has built years ago before cars, before roads have been built, before cars have access into the village. This is the terraced view. People are still sustained on their land. So what happened is they do have the younger generation who are out perhaps studying, trying to find work in the big city. But then the middle-aged generation, they still stay back home and they still farm their land. So they still pretty much sustain on their own rice and then also on their own vegetable. So they're actually very resistant. So during COVID, they won't hit that hard, and it's because they actually have their own land. So they were not short on food. So they are really very resilient in this sense. And I think that's much for us to learn about that. So this is just a brief background of what Atlas Studio and Global Heritage Fund has been working on, which is what Jenny will really talk about. I'm just really kind of giving you an introduction of why we are doing this. It is really an opportunity for us to engage the women in the village who normally do not have as much opportunity or say or participation in public life as the men. And yet they are really the key force that stays in the village because they have to look after the children, they have to look after the elders, they took on a lot of the main bulk of the work to keep the family together while the men are out working. Just a few stakeholder bio. So this is just give you some view of the traditional textile technique. I'm not going into the details, but this is just show you is really from the weaving to the indigo dyeing, and then to the sewing of the clothes. That's the ceremonial clothes, the formal traditional costume. This is a woman that we're working with, and this is the woman and their family. And I think you get to meet some of them later in the live streaming. And Jenny will probably give you more background about what exactly we do in this textile co-op, how she and her team has really used modern design to innovate on this very traditional, very special heritage. And I will stop my sharing right now. And yeah.
I can't help, this is fascinating. I can't help with one question first, and then we'll go to Jenny. How did you come upon this village so far away?
Actually, I first came to Guizhou. I was invited by UNESCO Beijing office, and then also the Guizhou Department of Culture. They had this vision quite a while back, even before the central government really took interest in rural cultural revitalization. So because they realized Guizhou is, as you know, but not all audiences may know, Guizhou is one of the least developed regions in China. So they realized the most precious resources is this very diverse ethnic culture. Because I think Guizhou, almost 40% of the population are all ethnic minority. But then they also realized that this is a living heritage. So they are all, people are still living in here, so they can't preserve it as a static monument. So they wanted to work with an organization, NGO like GHF. So while the government can kind of do the infrastructure, carry on kind of the hardware, they really want to work with a non-governmental organization that can really work with the community, that can really kind of develop all this software. So I was invited here. I traveled for about a week. I seen many villages they recommended, and I kind of just fell in love with Dali because it's just so striking the first time you get here, as you can see behind me. And yes, it's hidden away in the valley, so there's no road access. That's one of the reasons why it's so intact. So I just kind of got stuck here ever since. That was about 10 years ago when I first came here, actually.
How many years?
When I first visited the village was 10 years ago, but I probably started working here formally about 8 years ago.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. And what is that tune that's in your background? Anyway, we'll come to a virtual site visit shortly. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Jenny Cho, who is the co-founder of Studio Atlas, a Beijing architecture firm who partnered with GHF on this project. Right? And we'll see some of the buildings that Jenny actually worked on when we go live. Now, Jenny is originally from Taiwan. She has an architecture degree from RISD, the Rhode Island School of Design. It's the dream school for my little daughter. And a master's degree in urban design from Columbia University. In 2015, she co-founded Atlas in Beijing, and the studio has shown work both in China and internationally, including at the 2018 Venice Biennale of Architecture and 2016 International Architecture Biennale in Rotterdam, etc. And also they were very active in Shanghai Art and Design, Design Shanghai, Beijing Design Week for many years, since 2014. They have won numerous awards, including joining the Distinguished Architectural Digest China 100 list in 2019 for their contribution to public architecture. And they were also included in the top 10 emerging China-based design studios by Architecture Digest in 2016, and winning also the award for best food food and leisure space in 2019 by Elle Decor. Their stories have also been broadly told by the New York Times, CNN, Architecture Design, and many more. So with no further ado, here you go, Jenny. Thank you for taking the time to join us. We are not.
Hi, great introduction. We are very. Hello, can you hear me?
It's a little choppy.
Hello?
Try it again. It's a little bit
Okay.
choppy.
Try again.
Keep talking. Let's see. It may be better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, May, for the great introduction. We actually a very small studio based in Beijing. We have a small team, but we try to I think just care about what we do. So and thank you for this partnership with GHF, and we're very excited to bring more people to Dali to experience the authentic culture. So I would just share a bit about what we have been doing in Dali Village for the past 5 years. Can you see my screen?
No, we can't see
to
your
share.
screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to.
Um,
Share screen. Are you? I think you can. There is a share screen button. There you go. I think it's working now. Screen broadcast.
Can you see it?
Yes, it's working now.
Okay.
Great.
So you can see a presentation, right? Say Guizhou Research and Design.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, for us, the Guizhou project becomes the studio model project for how we combine research and design. And also through how we can understand a place through design. And it all started actually before we met Han, and before we actually went down to Dali Village for the first time visit. And we, my partner and I, we come across this book called Imprints on Cloth, which is 18 years of research of the in Guizhou of the textile by those two textile artists from Japan. And we were very like just impressed by this textile heritage that exists in Guizhou. And then we thought that if we have the opportunity one day, maybe we could work in Guizhou with this textile. And also because me and my partner, we were all trained in architecture, but we also understand, you know, the limits of architecture and how between the designing of a space, also fundraising, which we build institution, and how we can create like community of people. And I think for us, be able to work with people also was always kind of the core interest for our studio. And this is the Dali Village, also Huang Han have introduced, has a very unique ecosystem that's still kept intact to this day. You can see the village, the rice field, and the forest, you know, and the water system. So when we first arrived in the village, we started thinking how we can use design as a vehicle for interaction, and simply kind of just because before we started working with the Dali woman, the woman has never worked with designer from outside. So we kind of in a way just like hello gesture, say what we can do something together. And also through this project, we start to understand what makes the place as a whole. We have the traditional, the dong singing, the choir, and also you have the traditional textile. And the first pilot project we tested was back in 2017 when we partnered with GHF and also another co-op nearby, Shepherd's Family, to do an exhibition at the Beijing Design Week. And at first, we just created a new design of contemporary kind of homeware pillow that people will use in their home, but using traditional fabric, the Dali stripe. The Dali stripe is actually heritage fabric that what people used to use for their own bedding, but then because of industrialization, they actually don't use them anymore. They use the industrial made, actually sometimes non-cotton, 100% cotton bed sheeting, because they're you don't have, because those hand woven textile takes a very long time to make, and so their own personal item was slowly being replaced by industrial made product. So just as introduction, we tested like the new design in Beijing Design Week, introduced to new audience. This is kind of just all the product and exhibition view from the first pop-up exhibition we did. We also try to imagine how like the use in furniture, and then we designed this kind of folding chair with the famous Gothic cloth that they make. This Gothic cloth is kind of like a wax cotton fabric, and it's very, very sturdy, and it kind of gets this patina like leather. We also hosted like a dyeing workshop. We bring the mother water, the indigo dye from Guizhou into Beijing, and started a new indigo dye bath, because this indigo is it's like a fermentation process. It just kind of like making kombucha, like it's the same process that you have this mother water and then you let it ferment for like 2 weeks. And we also bring two of the first 3 women that started working with us to Beijing. And this is both their first time to come to Beijing. We want them to see where the product they were making is being showcased, and also how the firsthand response from how people like this product they make. We also developed a new product, baby blanket. We thought about baby blanket because if any of you have been to the minority region, baby carrier is a very important items for a mother would give to the newborn baby. But baby carrier is not so suitable for kind of, in the modern use today. But we thought this care for the newborn was very special. So we want to create a new product that has the same meaning, but can be used in a more like the modern setting, city setting. So we designed a series of baby blanket with different fabric. We let the woman to inject their own design. Sometimes they will add their personal like embroidery, also like the mix match of like the color quilting. And some of our women are extremely talented. Like this is the our quilting artist, and she designed all these quilting patterns herself. So once we started to have this group of like 15 women together, we start to think about what is the meaning to work together as a co-op, and how we share the resources and share work, share profit. But at the same time that in the beginning of the project, have a collective space to work together. Every time we go down to the village, we meet in individual women's home place, and it was kind of hard to manage quality control of the product making. Also, just the sense of like we want to give the woman's idea of governance. And this is at the time that GHF start talking about the possibility how we can create a space to support a group. And this is the drum tower platform. And we have on the left, you can see this kind of art looking building. It's not so authentic. It's actually built with concrete. And in this, it's built by the government as supposed to serve as a public toilet in the village for the tourists. But since it was built, it was never being used. So then GHF talked with the village and local government that we can use this space, but build something that's a heritage project and it could be really used as a public space for the village. So we designed a community center using the traditional post-beam trundle technique of the dome architecture. We work with a master builder from the village. And the building is a combination of actually a new typology. It's a new public space. We combine the typology of a private house, a granary, and become the Dali Center. Here, this is, so you can see a short clip of the dome people singing. Oh, I should have a different link of the video. Sorry, I'm supposed to show you a quick time video of how the framework was being set up. But I think there's a problem with the link of the video. So this is the Dali Center has 3 floors. The top floor is kind of a exhibition space and library and activity space, and the second level is the woman's studio workshop, and the bottom level is a storage and public space. Now we also use it as a dining room where when in the live broadcasting, Han would walk you to the Dali Center. You can see the current situation of the Dali, the women's workshop. So since this building, we finished this Dali Center, it really helped us to give a new form of collective public space for the woman. When we now that every time we go down to work with a woman, that we have a meeting space together, we can share the new project when we do like new product training. Also, it is also a showroom for the woman's product. So when visitors come to Dali, they can come here and see the new craft product that the woman has made. Okay, and so about 2019, there was a local partner that he had he was running a guest house in Dali Village, and he invited us to join a new project, which is the Well House, a new guest house. And we thought it's a really great opportunity to bring to show a real good example of how a heritage hotel can be done in the village, because tourism has been developing Dali for a few years. And so we thought that with our knowledge of the dome architecture and also the local textile, that we could do something quite special here, also kind of set as an example for the villager to see how we can translate their traditional lifestyle into kind of a more higher end and communicate to the kind of the urban consumer. So we joined the program of the Well House. And also we also want to use the Well House as an opportunity for the woman to engage in all the interior decoration. We can as a way to show the woman's product in a more like different kind of setting space. Because sometimes when you just see the product, but people cannot imagine how this product can be can be seen in a space. So that's why we joined the Well House program. So I'll show you a very short video of Dali Village, where just give you a teaser of what you will be seeing through the broadcasting. And also a preview of you can walk through to the well house. The background scene is seen by a woman. So the well house will we use all local material, like the brick, all the cedar wood. That is about that we want to show that using local material that we can create something that's respecting to the traditional culture, but has bring a new imagination to a more modern design. So I think I will go back to La Han to bring you back to the life back in the village.
So beautiful, so beautiful. How can we go there? Han, are you there? Take us there. If we can't go there physically, let's go there with you now. Thank you, Jenny. That was amazing.
Okay, I'm going to log out from the computer and go onto my phone. So
Okay.
hopefully that works. All right, I'll see you on my phone.
All right.
All right, can you see me and hear me?
Yeah.
Great. So, so here first, I'm at the warehouse now at the balcony. I want to start here because this is where you can have a really great view of the entire village. And there you can see the drum tower as I showed in the earlier photo. And then the textile co-op, the center, the atlas is designed. So we will move from there. Hi, this is Shiba. He is the manager of the Well House. And he will be helping me to film the live streaming today. So he'll be my photographer. All right. We're going to start from here. Sorry, we're just in a room. Now we're going to move out of the room.
Oh, let's see the room before you leave. Can we see the room?
Yeah, it's a little lived-in, so it's a little messy because there's someone living here, but you can get a sense of the room.
Nice.
And the best part about the room is you get this view.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
I'm ready to go too.
And then there's also all this, on the wall, there's all this old antique clothing that atlas that Jenny has sourced as well. So it's really trying to represent the traditional culture here in Dali. Yes. All right, we're gonna move. This is we're moving along the corridor. As you can see, there's the bamboo. Sorry, bear with me as we gonna move. Let me know if how I do. So basically now the warehouse, as Jenny has explained, it's the only high-end heritage hotel in the village. And I think it's actually a good thing because the villagers also run their own guest house from their home. So there's in the serve to different kind of clientele. So this is provide with the villagers. I'm gonna put on my shoes and now we're gonna venture out into the village.
How many rooms are there?
7 rooms.
7 rooms.
Yes. I think the way, well, come in the warehouse and see. This is the lobby. Oh, it's raining. So you guys can see. This is here is the manager. And we can move out now to the village.
The signal's a little bit slow, but it looks like we're
The signal is not great.
not great, but it feels like we're there with them for breakfast. Oh,
The
beautiful.
signal okay?
Yeah. Yes. Well, not.
Through the garden, you can see the exterior. And moving down. I will show you why it's called the warehouse.
可以。
洗衣服啊，
诶，这怎么？
洗那个豆染的布。So as you can see, there's a well right here. That's right under the warehouse. That's why it's called a warehouse. And this is Long Jie. This is one of the women that works with us in the textile, and she's actually washing one of the dye product that Jenny has recently developed with them. So this is the latest project they're doing. And if you do have the chance to come here, this is actually you get to experience to learn how to make that. So that is something to look forward to.
Beautiful. How cold is the water? It's so early.
It's quite cold, but it's not well, it's not winter now, so it's cool, but then it's still bearable. And this is the water where they drink from actually. And that's the warehouse exterior. Now we will move on to the village. This is the entrance. So this is the only road that you have access to the village. So this is where all the cars, when you get to the village, you have to park and you have to get off and go on foot from here. So this is the entry point, the parking lot. And then this is the bridge, what we call the wind and rain bridge. This is where the villagers like to sit and chat and all kinds of social activities happen. So from here on, the cars don't have access to the village, so we'll be walking the whole way. And it's raining today, so not a lot of people are out. So it's a little bit gray. Hello, Shelby. I'm friends with all the village dogs. She's selling breakfast here. It's a local cuisine called Zhen Fen. That's what it is. It's a local delicacy.
That's so cool.
And now I'm gonna take you to the drum tower and then to the textile co-op. You can meet the woman. They're actually working there right now. You can see our woman at the balcony. Lila, Lila. So we're gonna go up from the community center. It actually spans 9 meters high. It's 3 stories. So we're just gonna go up from here to the second floor where the textile workshop is. Oh, before we're going, I want to show you the drum tower, and you can see the view of the village from the other side as well. It's the drum tower.
Wow.
This is a Sa altar. This is a pagan belief. Sa means grandmother. So it's really worshiping kind of the Mother Earth. Symbolizes that is the altar. All these grass you see on top, they're not wheat, it's her hair. So the higher it is, it means more prosperous the village will be.
Wow.
You can see a view of the village with the river cutting across the center of the village, and then our houses on either side. This is a grand maple tree. It's very, very, very old, and it's something that the villagers really respect and worship. And now we can go meet the woman. And then from here, you can see the warehouse on the other end. So we were looking from the warehouse to the drum tower. Now we're looking back from the drum tower back to the warehouse. All right, let's see what the women are doing. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello. So here some of the woman that works in our textile co-op. So this is Shao Xian. Hi. She's our manager of the co-op, and also she's the leader of the local choir. So in that video, that beautiful music that you heard actually is the woman who sang it, and she's the lead singer. So you actually heard her sing earlier in the video.
So beautiful.
放那个视频。
特别好听，特别好听。长得也很漂亮。
Yeah. So we can introduce. So I'm gonna ask him what you're doing. 你们现在在做什么？在车那个背面那个抱枕。Oh. So now they're just sewing. They're making new cushion. So like Jenny has shown you some of the design of the cushion earlier. So now they're actually making a new design to sew with the with the fabric. This is the fabric that they have weaved themselves, and this is the obviously this is a machine and everything that we have set up for them. And this is the communal workspace as Jenny has talked about. I'll show you some of the products that they have made. We have sold a lot of them, so we don't have all the things in stock. So this is some of the example of the pillows. So these are the earlier design that Atlas has made. And then things like this and this are all design that the woman has made themselves. So basically they have moved on from just a craft person who had the skill to designer as well, which I think is really what we are hoping that they will achieve. They're also making the, that is the baby blanket. Jenny has used as well.
Guanghan, you need to do this live streaming on TikTok. You need to like be taking money and selling these things right now. Because
Like
I'm
sell
ready to
things
buy.
on Zhifu. So we have a little stuffed animal. This is a spider because spider is a very special motif animal. for dome, and the woman designing all this cute cross stitching and quilt. So we're doing a whole bunch of very exciting stuff. I know we're running out of time. I'm just going to show you one last thing. So earlier, when we met Longjie at the well, this is what she was washing. So this is dye douran, and this is actually the pattern. It's inspired from this old piece that we found in one of the women's house. So grandmother made it, and then we found it. So we decided to recreate the pattern, and now this is a new thing that the woman has learned how to do, and it was kind of discontinued and not practiced for a while. And if you come here, this is what we're going to teach you, and you can experience this. Yeah, so I guess this is it. This is the end of my live streaming. I wish I could walk you through the entire village because there's so much more to see. But I guess this is a teaser, and I will end the time here for now.
It is a terrific teaser. We're all like ready to go right now. Give us a visa. And what is the thing that's drying on the rooftop that we just saw? If you turn the camera a little to the left, the green.
Oh, that's?
Yes.
That's actually just moss.
Oh, just moss? Really?
Yes.
Okay. Right. It's raining season. They shouldn't be drying anything right now. Right. You see so many comments in the chat box. People are just dying to go. Thank you for bringing this real sort of piece of China, taste of China to us. It's absolutely lovely. Love the rooster. Thank you. Wonderful cameraman. There are a couple of questions here. Let me start off with one of my questions. In both running the guest house and this community center, I went to Guizhou first time 20 something odd years ago. It was freezing in this time when it sort of rains, and these beautiful traditional architecture has one of the challenges is for city dwellers. It can be quite cold. How do you? Oh, is that cherry?
The local cherry. Yeah. It's cherry season. Sorry. Yeah.
That's so nice. So how do you deal with that in design architecture, heating in wintertime for comfort?
This Jenny, you want to answer that?
Or our Mr. 18?
Talking about the heat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was actually one of the big thing we did at the Wild House is using, the traditional wood dwelling, but we take very carefully designing the new insulation and also vibration, because as you know that the wooden houses that the vibration is like, like you hear the next door people basically like, right in front of your face. So that was a big challenge to design that we have insulation between the wooden panel. Also, we put in this like resist, like vibration resist, like padding, like all along the floor, between the floor, also between the wall to create like seal insulation and vibration. And it's actually I think we were quite satisfied with the result that I think we able to show as example with modern like traditional wooden dwelling that also could be done. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, there are many questions streaming in here. When is the Women's Festival in 2020? Is there a Women's Festival?
Is it, maybe they asked me about the 3月3?
I'm not sure.
The sister
Oh,
festival?
Sisters Festival. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
妹姐啊，问的是姐妹节。
姊妹节，对对对 Sisters Festival. Do we have a date for that this year? I'm sorry for those locked outside of China. This is out of your choice right now, but for those lucky to be in China, when can they go?
他们今年问有姊妹节吗？3月3，什么时候啊？在台江。They have the festival not here in Dali, but in Taijiang, which is another nearby county. Yeah, this year they're holding it. Yes, April. Yeah,
April.
It's coming up soon, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And has the village suffered in COVID? How do they deal with that, or not at all?
Well, the village was shut down for many months, like other places. So what is lucky is because this entire area in Guizhou, not just the village, but this entire area, they do not have a single case of COVID. The government actually understands how vulnerable these rural areas are because of lack of medical resources. So they actually took immediate action to shut down this entire rural area, and so they didn't have any cases. So health-wise, they did really well, which is great. But obviously, they suffered from lack of tourism. They didn't have anyone while they were shut down, so nobody can come in and they can't go out, so they can't go out and work. Nobody can come in, so they don't have any cash. But I said because they still grow their own land, they still basically they're able to feed themselves. So they will strive for cash. It was difficult for them for at least 6 months of the year, but then at least they can get by just because of their agriculture, because of their land. So it's always very important that they do not forget their interaction and their agricultural culture. And I think that's really what helped to put them through. Yeah.
Yeah. Along that line, there's a wonderful question here by Anthony Fragola. Says, I imagine these women have many other duties, so their time must be limited. Right? How many of the textiles can they create to sell? And are all these products sold to tourists or in the village to tourists, or are there online channels? How do they generate cash for their work? Beautiful work.
Jenny, you want to take that?
Yes. So it's a very good question. So every time when we do order a product, also or designing new product production, we actually really have to work with the woman's kind of the regular agriculture production schedule in the village. So there's like the season, the harvest season, they're very busy, and then there's like the low season. So it just as anything that they do in the village naturally, because the woman will use the winter time to weave, because that's the time that the agricultural production slows down. So our production actually work with kind of we don't interrupt their one of the most important thing is that we don't want to interrupt their day-to-day schedule, what they need to do, because like you said, the women are very, very busy. They get up like 6 in the morning, 5, and then go to the field to work. And then they also had to come back during noon to pick up their kids. For the younger mother that stay in the village, take care of their kids. So it's really just like we will give them like, oh, we need to order up this, and then we need this set of order by a certain time, and then the woman will manage the time to fulfill the order. And then the Dong woman, they're extremely hardworking and efficient. So they're all like master at managing their time. I think much more efficient than us, the urban people. And the product now, you can visit the village and see the product in the Dali Center. We also have done selected pop-up sales in Beijing, Guangzhou. And we also had a retailer from Berlin called Folk Days. They have a few designs that's on their website. And this year, one of our main goals is to build online website store for the co-op. So hopefully we can reach, the product can reach to more and more people.
That's fantastic. By the way, if anybody's interested in the reservation to the guest house, it's only in in Chinese. Their website is only in Chinese, so in English it's on WildChina, but we will share that link in post-event notes, and also any of this resource, Jenny, where people can help and purchase these products to help the village. We will share those in our post-event notes as well. You can subscribe to wildchina.com newsletter to receive these information. This is really, really beautiful work. And for any questions that I've missed, in the chat box, please repost. I'll try to get to them. Probably they were buried early on. At the same time, I want to clarify one thing. There was a comment earlier. Someone said, looking forward to going to Dali and Lijiang. This is a different Dali. This, the Dali and Lijiang combination further west in Yunnan province. That's in my hometown. That's where I'm from, Yunnan province, and that's much more developed, much more than this Dali Village. It's a very difficult choice which one to go, but this one I think looks so idyllic. There's a question earlier. So this area is open now. Do they need special permits to travel to Dali right now?
No, it's open. Anybody can come. There's no special permit. And it's very easy now to travel because of the high-speed trains. So from Guiyang, which is the provincial capital of Guizhou, you can fly in from anywhere. And then from Guiyang, you can take a high-speed train. It takes about just a little over an hour to Rongjiang, which is the county. And then from Rongjiang train station, it's half an hour to Dali. So it's very smooth and easy.
Wow, that's night and day from when I was back.
Yeah, well, it's night and day from the first time I came here too.
Yes, and there are many people in our audience who've been, and I saw Patty Waldemeyer, who was writing for the Financial Times and visited Guizhou many, many years ago, like 10 years ago. If you get a chance to reach out to me, I'm trying to reach you, Patty. Same email address. So you have many, many fans here. Okay, so question from Jane, is that travel accessible to independent travelers?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, just navigate a little bit more, right?
Yes.
And here's another wonderful question also from Jane, is the concept of co-op business completely cool with the Dong culture?
That's an interesting question. I can try to answer that first, and Jenny can also probably jump in. I would say that it's completely foreign to them. So they didn't quite understand what we're trying to do in the beginning, because especially for the women, because the women are not, I mean, the men will better understand, but the women are not usually the one who handle all the finances, and they don't really understand how they can make money or let less to understand what it means to be co-op. So they were a little bit timid in the beginning. They wanted to kind of just be the hands, the craft person behind this, and they didn't really want to, take on additional responsibility. But I think now, after working with them for a couple of years, they understand this concept and they are in control. And it's not just about making the craft. They have learned to do business. They have to keep their accounts. They have to keep tab. They are stepping up. They learn to use computer. They are keeping inventory. So they're really stepping up. Understand it's different to run a business than to just make craft. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Along that line, this will be our last question, is wondering, you introduced a new technology to a traditional process. Any resistance at all? In making products, I think.
Yeah, I can answer that first, and I think Jenny can also answer. We can both answer that. So I think what is interesting with our approach is that we actually introduced an additional process. But we did not interfere at all with the traditional process. So they still weave and dye their fabric in the traditional way. So what is it that we actually use this material that they have made in the traditional way, and then use this textile to create new product. So I think we're not interfering in the traditional craft. We are just actually introducing new layers on how the possibility of this traditional textile can be used. And also, it's not just us. Even before we intervene, some of the women in the village, they have already learned how to use sewing machine. Some of the seamstresses have already learned how to use that, except that the machine is probably not as sophisticated. The technique is not as refined because it's really making for their self-made. So what we have introduced is something that really improving it, what they've already been exposed to, and improve it to the next level that is actually good enough for commercial quality.
Wonderful, wonderful. Jenny, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think what I can add is, we actually, it's not about introducing new technology, but we introduce more like modern contemporary aesthetic that the product, we can make new product that has can be competitive in the market and has attract new possibility. I think that's the importance. And but also that, with the Dong woman, the Miao woman, and any of those minority women, they're all like natural artists. So it was also amazing just be able to work with their creativity, and that then also once you just have to open a little bit door and then just go wow, And so what's most interesting about the dough line, the soybean resist dyeing project is this was actually already disappeared in the village. That all the 5 years I was in village, I only saw one of this example that was made by one of our woman's grandmother, and none of them has ever made that because that technique was just lost. So we also want to bring back some of the technique and craft that's been lost in the village as well.
Yeah, this is just such an amazing experience to see all the work you are doing. Thank you so much. Sadly, I know everyone wants to continue. Everyone wants to, go on Guanghan's cell phone and experience the village and hear more of the rooster crow. But sadly, we have to wrap up for today. But here comes now. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Dr. Lee, for sharing all this. Here comes the ask. A Global Heritage Fund has a wonderful, wonderful board and many longtime supporters. I think Ro is chairman of the board is here. Nada, who is the CEO, is also here. They do wonderful work. And so we can get involved in many ways. Go visit, donate, spread the word, whatever you can do, right? If you want to donate, the website is globalheritagefund.org. Every penny helps with doing the kind of beautiful work that we just saw. So thank you. And as I mentioned earlier, WildChina is running a trip. We're only taking 12 people. That's in May to Dali Village. And anyone interested in other student initiatives or other partnership initiatives, do reach out or info@wildchina.com or follow the newsletter for more events like this. As I said, we want to bring Morocco here, definitely. And last thing I want to plug a little bit. My little daughter also sews baby blankets, Sophie's blankets, and she can make website. So let's explore a way for her to make a website for Dali. That'd be amazing.
Great. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. And I'd like to invite everybody, come back and join us same time next week for the next event. It's Earth Day. We'll be talking to a longtime friend of mine, explorer, conservationist, Ed Norton, who was running the Nature Conservancy in China. And we'll talk about China's river systems. Now we'll go to that event, will go to Shangri-La, Yunnan. So thank you for joining us. And now Guanghan and Jenny, you can go ahead and enjoy the day, enjoy the beautiful village.
Thank you, May, for doing this. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Fantastic. Bye.